President Trump is continuing negotiations with Iran. At the same time, he's making plans for war.
The U.S. Special Envoy arrives in Jerusalem today. He's expected to meet with the Iranian leaders later this week. CBN Middle East correspondent Julie Stahl has more.
President Trump is urging Iran to abandon its nuclear program and make a deal.
I'd like to see a deal negotiated. I don't know that that's going to happen. Right now, we're talking to them. We're talking to Iran, and if we could work something out, that'd be great. And if we can't, probably bad things would happen.
According to Iranian media, the country's president has ordered the start of talks. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff is due in Israel on Tuesday for talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu before a potential meeting with the Iranian foreign minister later in the week. In an address to the Knesset, Netanyahu said there are challenges ahead of Israel.
More testing awaits us, but we're vigilant and prepared for any development. We're monitoring the situation and are ready for any scenario. Anyone who attacks us will face unbearable consequences as far as he is concerned.
Despite the talk of negotiations, the U.S. and Israel are preparing for war. On Sunday, Israeli naval vessels and a U.S. Navy destroyer held a joint exercise in the Red Sea arena. In Gaza, Israel reopened the Rafah crossing with Egypt on Tuesday, allowing people to cross but not any goods. The Times of Israel published a decade-old photo showing a Gaza doctor wearing a Hamas uniform. Israeli news, Kan, reported that Hamas's leadership sent a secret document to the organization's officials in Gaza ahead of the installation of a new government. It revealed how Hamas plans to continue ruling and managing the Gaza Strip, despite Trump's plan, which calls for the complete disarming and dismantling of Hamas. Avi Abelo says both Iran and its proxy Hamas are employing an ancient Islamic tactic to buy time and rebuild their strength.
A Hudna is a pause saying, okay, we can't win now. We'll make a temporary peace deal so that when our enemies are either weak or they don't see it coming and we're strong again, we will then attack again to destroy our enemies. That is exactly what Muhammad did back in 628.
He says the West needs to understand that the only way to deal with jihadi ideology is to defeat it.
This is a society that's at war to not only destroy Israel, but jihad is about taking over the world in the name of Islam. It's about first going after the Saturday people, that's the Jews, then going after the Sunday people, that's the Christians, and they are in the process of doing this across Europe, Australia, Canada. They're in the process of doing this in America, even without raising a sword.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
We have to keep in mind what Islamic ideology, what Sharia law allows Muslims to do. First and foremost, it allows them to lie to infidels. In fact, it's encouraged in jihad that you must disguise what you're doing, and it's perfectly legal under Sharia law to lie and lie repeatedly. The other thing is this Hudna, the let's take a pause. If we can't win right now, let's take a pause until we're strong enough where we can win. Now, in the negotiations right now with Iran, are both sides delaying until there's enough strength to have overwhelming force? I think Iran's just trying to buy time so they can build more ballistic missiles and fully develop an atomic weapon. But let's look at what Hamas has done to lie to infidels. If I can get the picture of that doctor. Here is the doctor in his doctor robes as he's one of the first ones to declare as supposed head of the hospital in Gaza. He wrote 2 New York Times op-ed pieces where he claimed Israel was committing genocide, and he had proof. Now go back to that picture again. Here is him 10 years ago, and he's in a colonel's uniform for Hamas. He is part of their military structure. The entire Gaza Ministry of Health is a propaganda arm of Hamas. They're terrorists, and here he is in this doctor's robe, supposedly looking like he's a medical professional trying to care for injured people. He's not. He's trying to tear down the Jewish state. He's trying to attack Israel. And it's amazing to me that the New York Times would participate in that. It's also amazing to me that our culture, it seems like all of Europe and all of the United States has bought into this incredible lie that Israel committed genocide in Gaza. They did no such thing. It was Hamas calling for genocide in Israel. That was the motivation behind the October 7th attack. And these lies get repeated again and again and again. And here's a colonel in the Hamas military getting space in one of the premier publications of the world, the New York Times, not just once, but twice, and using that term genocide and accusing the IDF of genocide in Gaza. The truth has been stood on its head, but we're here to tell you the real truth, that these are lies, and incredible lies, being repeated, and the so-called gatekeepers of truth, the newspapers of record, are allowing it to continue with no correction. This goes along with the photographs of supposedly starving Gazan children that weren't starving at all. They had a medical condition, and it was all set up, or the staged photographs of people clamoring for food with empty pans in their hands. All of these images, these stories have gone around the world. As believers in the truth of the Bible, we need to stand up to it and call it for what it is. These are lies. And the Islamic ideology, this radical Islamic death cult, these militant terrorists that want destruction, they seem to worship death. We need to confront it boldly and continuously until it is eradicated from the planet.